Did Elvis ever cook for himself or any guest or do anything like that, or did he always have somebody fix?
Oh no, he had somebody.
I never saw him ever cook.
No, Aunt
Gladys.
Aunt Gladys cooked, when they first did. They had a maid.
She could cook really good too.
And
Lamar said.
Yeah, she could. She was a good cook. Yeah, but they had a maid, and her name, the first one was named Alberta, and she was on Ottawa Drive, and then they, she came to Graceland and all, and but Aunt Gladys, did a lot of the cooking her own self,
All those cooks and the maids and the cooks and the housekeeper, they were all like family.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew them, and they were so nice, and I loved all of them.
I did too.
Every one of them. Yeah. They were so nice. Would do anything.
Mary, Nancy Rook,
Mary and Nancy, Lottie,
all of them.
In Memphis, and California, it was Alberta and Lillian and Alvina, and her daughter. Her daughter's name. Can't remember her daughter's name.
Who?
Alvina, Barbara.
Yeah,
Barbara.
I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really...
And what was Jimmy?
Jimmy, and her little girl's name was Diane.
Yeah, that last name was Jackson.
Yeah.
Lillian and God, what was his first name? Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so on.
His name was Jimmy. Jimmy. His name was Jimmy.
Yeah, it could have been.
Jimmy, it was. I remember them.
Yeah.
But we'd sit around and talk, with them.
Yeah.
And sit around. Of course, they probably wish we'd gone on and let them get what they needed done. But
so they interrupted them.
Yeah. They would play with Danny and, play cards and sit out in the limousine, let him drive, and they would sit out there and pretend that he was driving them around and stuff like that.
Jimmy was the butler and she was the maid.
Okay.
They were really nice,
Did Billy and Joe know Nurse Marion Cock?
Oh yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Sure we did. Yeah. When Elvis had his eye done, he went into the hospital and he was having something he was having done. I can't remember. Nothing, critical or. But anyway, he was in there, and of course, he had 2 rooms.
Yeah,
and Linda had the bed moved from that room in there where Elvis was, and they stayed in the same room. She stayed with him and all. And Marion was, I believe she was. His nurse at that time, yeah.
And once when he went, we stayed we had a room across the hall from him, like it was a hotel or something. Yeah. We stayed. He was in the hospital, and we were across the hall. And of course, we were in there with him most of the time, but we had to stay up there. Yeah, he wanted us to stay up there, so we did.
Okay. Well, that was
she liked to, go for, So
he didn't like it to be the hospital atmosphere.
Go get me this. Go get me.
Fetch me.
Yeah, fetch me.
Well, I saw Marion passed away recently, so hated to see that.
Yeah.
All right. Did Elvis ever meet Loretta Lynn?
I don't know.
It's possible. I just don't know because, like I say,
he met the Carters.
I didn't.
June Carter and all them.
Oh yeah, he met them.
Anita Carter and
Loretta Lynn. I don't know. Like I say, it's just to be a guess on my part. Goes back in. I did travel with him, and
you were too little.
And he, there were so many different guests.
I meant too young.
Too young.
All right, it's going to be Pick on Billy Day. Just
What's your birthday? It's your birthday.
Got my bumper fixed.
As Danny always said, when he was little, he'd always say, my birthday. It's my birthday.
Could Billy and Joe talk about the time that Linda gave Billy a letter and a gift to give to Elvis, supposedly after they broke up and she flew home? story from one of Ginger's group says that Linda came back and begged him to take her back.
No.
No, she didn't.
No. Yes. Elvis had bought Linda a house over on
Was it Old Hickory or?
somewhere
It was
right
right-
around there, about a street or so over, and she had moved in there. They had kind of separated, you know. Could have very well been Linda's idea as much as it was Elvis. Anyway, you know, they kind of separated, and I forget the occasion, but anyway, she brought a letter up there to give to Elvis and a ring that she had bought him.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I think she had actually gotten it for Christmas, and she left before.
Yeah,
because I know
I
she
think
came
so,
up and
yeah.
brought gifts to us. She came up to our trailer. We lived, you know, when we
Okay.
lived there, and she brought his gift and asked Billy
Yeah, give it
and a
to him,
letter to
yeah.
give to
Yeah.
him. I know that's the year that we got her a pogo stick. She said, I asked her, I said, what do you want for her? She said, I want a pogo stick.
But anyway,
I wonder
you know,
if she still has her pogo stick.
I don't know what the letter contained. You know, he never did talk about it, and I never did. You know, because that was a personal thing. You know, so I don't think it was.
That's
to
not that
beg
was
Elvis
not her
back,
nature.
You know, she,
Yeah.
Linda was just, you know. She was
No,
not
she
like
probably wished him well, and
that. Yeah. But
you know,
anyway,
like
that's about the most I can tell you about that. Because, like I said, I didn't, but I did give him the letter
Right.
and take the ring to him.
Right.
Now, he never did mention anything about it. You know, just told me, he said, "No, appreciate you bringing it out here to me." And all, so.
but you did take it out there too.
Oh yes, yeah, I took it out there to him. In fact, I took it on out there just
The same.
right after that, the same, you know, same day.
I think it was close to Christmas.
That's
and
what they said. They thought it was at Christmas time.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was, and she had it made
Yeah.
for him, or had, you know, got it and bought it for him, and she asked Billy if he would take it.
Let's see. It says, tell us about the Memphis Mafia men when you get a chance, maybe different ones. And would you tell us something about Charlie? Was Charlie a nice guy?
You had to love Charlie.
Yeah, around us he was. I mean, I don't know how he was, you know, to other people, but around us, yeah, Charlie was, you know. he was
Always the
always-
performer.
Yeah, yeah, constantly, you know.
Constantly telling jokes. I don't think Charlie ever met a stranger.
No.
I know
he was-
in Palm Springs one time, Elvis had given us all the girls some money, and because we just went on the spur of the moment, so he said, "Don't pack anything. You know, you can buy clothes and whatever you need when we get out there." So he gave us some money, and Charlie said, "I'll take y'all to the mall." And then, so he went in, and of course he smoked constantly. You know, he sit right in the middle, and he said, "Don't rush, just take your time, do whatever." So we just, you know, we went shopping, and when we came back, he had about 3 old men and 2 old women sitting there, and he was telling jokes, and you know how Charlie laughed.
Yeah.
It was a contagious, like, you know, real loud, and we could hear him before we got to him laughing, and he had him an audience, and that's all he needed.
Yeah.
But Charlie
Back
was
then,
like,
you could smoke in the mall.
"Oh yes, you
Yeah,
could smoke
oh, yeah.
anywhere." I never smoked.
You,
But,
I don't know if you could smoke inside the stores because they had that long hallway, and I know everybody that I ever saw, they had those,
Out.
you know,
Yeah,
cigarette.
they had those
They put out
circle
things.
benches
Yeah,
out in the
and you
mall,
could-
and he
and
would
you
sit
could
out there and
Put
talk
your
and
cigarette out.
smoke.
Yeah.
But he never met a stranger. He
No.
just he could talk to anybody.
Charlie was lovable, just
He was.
misunderstood.
He was. Charlie was really like an alcoholic,
Yeah.
and that's, you know,
Well, he got that.
he
way,
got
I don't
that
know,
way.
Yeah.
But
But that was, you know, basically after.
But he liked everybody basically, and if
After he
he
left
didn't,
Elvis, you know,
if he
about-
didn't like somebody, they knew it.
Oh yeah.
But Charlie was a little bitty guy. You know, he was shorter than Billy.
Really?
Billy always liked.
I felt big.
Very tall.
But he was lovable.
Was he
and-
the one that wore the real strong cologne?
No. No, everybody used to would aggravate Richard Davis because he wore canoe.
Okay, I thought it was
Canoe,
Charlie.
yeah.
No, it was Richard, and everybody nicknamed him. They'd call him Canoe.
Canoe, okay.
That's what they'd call him. Hey, his nickname was Broom.
Broom, yeah.
Because he
He
was
was
so
so tall
skinny,
and
yeah,
skinny.
tall and skinny. Now he was a card.
Yeah.
Richard, everybody loved Richard. I guess Richard got along with everybody, didn't he?
Yeah, just
I know we
just,
keep saying that we'll do it, but I think we need to do
Each one of them?
dedicate a video to each one. I mean, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes or an hour, but just 15, 20 minutes for each of the guys, and just maybe tell stories, and we can share pictures. And
It's weird
it
to
would just
think
be good.
about them, all the guys, because each one of them had their own personality. You know, they
But
were
it
all,
took all the personalities to make it great.
but they all got along, and if they didn't get along, it wasn't anything drastic.
I mean,
if they didn't get along, they didn't stay
It's like
very
family.
long.
You're
Yeah,
together so
like
much.
family.
You
Yeah.
do. So, but yeah, tell us in the comments if y'all would like to see something like that,
Yeah.
and that would be some good. Maybe
Yeah.
next time I film, we could
Each one of
just
them had
each
their
one
own.
have their own video, and we can say, and you can send in questions and stuff like that. I think that would be fun.
There's crazy, funny stories about every one of them, and him too.
I think that would be a
Some
good
not
one.
so funny too.
So, we'll think
what do you
about
mean
that.
by that? Huh?
We'll think
What do you mean by that?
we'll think about
You
that for the
too, once
next
you get started.
for the next
Yeah, that'd be
the next
good.
time we
That'd be real
maybe the
good.
next time we record.
Some of the ones that were
just
less
every
known.
every
Yeah.
week have a different feature.
Yeah.
Maybe each Sunday or each Wednesday of the week, and it can just go. All right. Did Elvis ever attend any teacher-student conferences or any meetings at Lisa's school when they happened? No, in Lisa's book, she said that when her daddy was in California, he might pick her up from school or something.
Yeah,
But
see, she went to school in California.
so did he ever mention having to go to the school, or was
No.
that mainly
I
up to her
don't.
mama?
I can't recall him ever. Can you?
Nuh-uh,
I don't
no.
remember him ever.
Or ever talking about anything like that.
I wouldn't.
I
be,
think he, pretty much left that to Priscilla because, when
I was
she
going
went
to say,
school,
I
that
wondered
was
if
with
the teachers or them ever came up with anything, trying
trying to
saying
get her
your
to.
daddy needs to come to the
I know
school.
when Billy was in high school, Elvis said, "You don't need to go to school anymore. You need to go with me, and I'll teach you everything you need to know."
I bet.
And I guess he did, and some he didn't need to know. But then, Billy had to go back to school and get his
GED.
educate. Yeah, he got his diploma, and which I did too. We both did. We both went back.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we were probably the youngest ones that traveled with him and were with him. I know.
No, there was one that was, he was just getting out of diapers. No.
I'm talking about the original guys. Now later on, of course, Ricky and David and Al, and Al was not too much younger than me, but Dean and Steve and guys like that were younger. But
All right, did Elvis ever talk about wishing that he had a son?
I think he had a name picked out.
He said, if he would like to have a son, if he ever had one, he said, but I don't care, if I have one, if it's a girl or a boy. He said it makes no difference to me because, I love it just as much. But, I don't know if him and Priscilla picked a name for Lisa or not, but Elvis had one that he...
John Barron.
John
Barron, Presley was going to be, the boy if it had a boy and all. And, so, I don't know about
He said that was
Lisa.
a strong name,
Strong
John
name,
Barron.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
Did any of your family members go to Lisa Marie's concert at the Overton Shell in Memphis?
I don't know.
Not any of
Not any of ours.
my
No.
personal family, I don't know that some of the other family did, But
Don't know.
Did Elvis store all of his stage costumes at Graceland?
Yes.
Where were they?
Most of them were downstairs. He had, golly, I don't know how to explain it, but off the TV room there's a door, and that door goes into a little hallway that goes to the bathroom, and then there was a bedroom, and there was a closet, and so they were kept in that closet right there. If you go in the door, it's right to the right, that closet, and then the bedroom.
That's where Charlie originally stayed.
Well, a lot of them
did
stayed
for
down there,
a while. If they, if they just were going to stay for a short time, and then Charlie, after Marty and Patsy moved, Charlie moved out to the garage apartment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but that was later.
That was much later.
Yeah.
Much later.
Yeah.
Was it true that it's a family trait that in the family there were webbed toes, and did Elvis have those?
Well, I got webbed toes, man. I'm like a duck. Boy, I get in the pool.
It goes around a circle. No,
one-legged man, so on. but no, I don't remember any webbed
Anything
toes
like that.
and all. Somebody said that Elvis said he had a webbed toe. I don't remember. And
Elvis
with all the movies and all that,
yeah.
somebody would have sooner or later
noticed
noticed something like that.
Was it true that Elvis and Priscilla once renewed wedding vows in Hawaii?
I never heard that. I don't know.
I've seen several questions about it.
I saw somebody ask that, but I never heard him mention it, or I never heard her mention it, or anybody else.
No.
The-
It would have had to be in 69
yeah.
or
When
from
they
there
went-
on,
Right.
When Lisa was a baby, the time they went, that time when Tom Jones.
They may have, I
We don't
I
know.
wasn't there, so I couldn't really.
Was it? You were.
Look,
Excuse
if
me.
you gonna yawn,
I
you
didn't
know,
mean to. All this weather just makes me sleepy. All right. Did.
Yeah,
This is
did.
funny.
We did. Everybody did.
Did Joe Esposito, Marty Lacker, Charlie Hodge, and Billy ever compare height? Who was the tallest?
Oh, I thought you were going to say. I thought you said a fight. I was.
No.
Height.
Between Joe, Marty, you, and Charlie, how did it range in height?
It would have run Charlie, Marty, Billy, and Joe.
Marty was shorter than Papa. For real?
Without his boots.
Yeah.
Now, all the guys back in the day would wear those boots with the big heels. I saw some on Facebook the other day that looked just like them. Elvis wore them,
Yeah.
too. They were black leather with
I hear
high
phones.
heels.
I hear cell phones. All right.
Pardon me, folks. We got a cell phone.
Got a cell
that's
phone.
going
Well, what
off.
we'll do is wrap this one up and then we'll pick back up.
Yeah,
How about
okay.
that? Okay, we'll do that.
Come back.
Come back.
We'll be here waiting.